Weather portion of Ag Week, I want to take a look at the U.S. Drought Monitor to begin with, because we've been watching this map for the entire time that the Ag Week program has been on, and every one of those shows that we've showed the Drought Monitor, California has been red. And it's worth pointing out that this winter, California has really lost a significant part of its drought. It's still a little bit dry, but we're looking at this when at a point in the season where the moisture is still in the mountains. And so we still have a couple of months of precipitation this winter to go, and all that water coming down out of the mountains into the plains. It really looks like there's been a grand improvement, and that's the way California weather works. It's usually either too wet or too dry. Rest of the nation, an interesting area to watch as we go through the spring season is the southern plains, not Texas. Texas is in great shape, but there are some dry pockets in parts of Oklahoma and Kansas, a lot of this winter wheat country, and it'll be interesting to see as we get into the spring now, the severe weather season, if this area gets some ample moisture or if it continues to stay dry. There is some dry weather in the southeast and in parts of the northeast. Those are mostly non-agricultural. For the most part, the corn bean belt and the northern plains, there really is not much drought with the exception of Missouri and southeast Iowa, and that's not particularly severe. Weather pattern right now, cold weather has kind of come back this week, though it's not really particularly cold. There will likely be a bit of a visitation of some sub-zero temperatures, at least at night, into the northern plains around midweek because of a little dip in the jet stream, and that will then likely move toward the eastern seaboard toward the end of the week, and that will cause a surge of warm air into the southern plains, which is eventually going to beef up the ridge along the west coast as we get into the second week of the forecast. Precipitation this week, there may be a second snowstorm coming through the plains about midweek. There will be areas of light snow, but somewhere there may be some significant moisture from that. And then behind that, high pressure will drop southward, which will send that cold weather down pretty far south, it looks like, by the end of the week, followed by maybe another little clipper system toward the weekend. Meanwhile, the second week, February 12th through 18th, watch what the cold air does. It's going to kind of retreat and then briefly dive bomb down into the south. This won't be sub-zero, but unusually cold weather even down into Florida before that releases. And the presence of that cold air will likely allow for an east coast storm system. Late in the week, the warm air will build up across the west. So here's what that means for precipitation. Mostly the rocky stuff as the ridge builds up, that's going to dry out, and then there'll likely be this east coast storm about the middle of February, which may produce some snow in the Great Lakes. Elsewhere around the world, down in South America, ample rainfall in Brazil. The southern part of South America looking a little bit dry. And as far as Australia goes, the only real significant rain will be across the far north. The rest of the southern continent staying generally dry, it looks like, for the next couple of weeks.